My father was in the film industry as a production accountant before I entered myself. And I would go to the studios with him during my holidays. And the first time I went to the studio was to Pinewood Studios in the UK. And they were making the film Cleopatra, starring Elizabeth Taylor, which was the largest budget film ever made in history at that point in time. And so they built on several acres ancient Rome. So I came from an ordinary suburban middle-class background in central London and found myself at 10 years old standing in ancient Rome with all the most extraordinary sets and things. In the end, the film actually stopped there because Elizabeth Taylor got sick and they had to move the whole thing to Italy. But I had this experience of going there and visiting it, and all through my holidays I would go and see a variety of films. So when I left school, I decided I wanted to go into the film industry like Dad. And I applied to become a unit runner, which is a person who just runs and does anything, any messages and so on. And I had to wait several months after leaving school to get a break, and I did get a break. I went to work at MGM Studios, which is now gone, MGM Studios near Elstree in south of London there. And I got a job there on a film called The Bells of Hell Go Ting-a-ling-a-ling, which starred Gregory Peck, who was a big star at the time. And I worked on that for a month, and then it collapsed as well. After a month of shooting, they hadn't shot enough, and so that was closed down by the studio. But while I was there, I was allowed onto the sets of various films, like The Dirty Dozen, 2001. I went and watched them filming a number of scenes from 2001. That was an amazing experience. They had Grand Prix, they had Roman Polanski's Fearless Vampire Killers, so the lunchtime canteen was full of people in a variety of costumes, from spacemen to vampires to World War II veterans and all these kinds of things. So it was a stunning beginning. And then I moved to Pinewood Studios and worked on a film called The Long Duel with Yul Brynner and Trevor Howard, and that was another wonderful experience. And after that I did something on Battle of Britain for a few months, and then eventually came to Australia, where I worked on the series Skippy the Kangaroo as a third assistant director and then a second assistant director. And after that I worked on a variety of films, starting with Age of Consent with Helen Mirren and James Mason, Wake in Fright, Donald Pleasance, Jack Thompson, and a whole lot of other films made in Australia. And I worked in the film industry for 20 years, ending up directing several episodes of a television series called Return to Eden, which was a big success, fortunately, all around the world. And then I left the film industry and began my career in presenting seminars about self-development.